brave men and women who have served our country faithfully often need our help to successfully transition back into civilian life. Brave Radio is here to highlight veterans and the companies who are making a difference in our veteran community. And now, the host of Brave Radio, Eve Nasby.
Welcome to Brave Radio, in conjunction with Military Mondays, where we're focused on engaging our veterans and making a difference in our business community. I'm your host, Eve Nasby, here to highlight the best and brightest that San Diego and this nation have to offer. We have a great show planned today, so let's get started. First up with us in studio is Nikki, Shimozaki, and Chad Lozier from Point Loma, Nazarene University. Welcome.
Thanks, Eve.
Thank
How are
you,
you?
Eve.
So glad to have you guys here. I'm doing well. Now that you guys are here, I'm fired up. We're going to have the show centered around why companies should hire veterans and the opportunities that veterans bring to the table, and also some services that you guys at Point Loma offer veterans who are looking to transition out of the military into the university environment. So with that, let's talk about, Nikki, if you don't mind, tell us something about Point Loma Nazarene University. Give us the history behind it, and then we're going to talk about what veterans can receive from Point Loma.
Great, thanks. Yeah, so Point Loma Nazarene University has been around for over 100 years.
Oh, wow.
We're out on the Point Loma.
So beautiful.
Yes,
oh my
on the great view
gosh.
on the cliffs.
Yes.
So we're a traditional 4-year university, but most of us don't know exactly that we have some graduate programs, some traditional graduate programs, and then we have some new adult degree completion programs. So if you are an adult, working adult, and you don't quite have your bachelor's yet, you can come back to us one night a week and complete that.
Oh, wow.
Where you get your full bachelor's. And we also have some partnerships on the community colleges at Grossmont Community College, Palomar, Miracosta City, and Southwestern.
Okay, so what does a partnership mean?
So basically, you'll take the classes, Point Loma Nazarene University classes, on the community college campus. You'll have our full-time professors, and you'll be able to complete your bachelor's on that campus at a convenient location.
Okay, so if I live in East County and I can go to Grossmont, but I still am being educated by the Point Loma Nazarene University staff.
Exactly.
That's so cool. I don't have to commute.
Nope.
I could walk to school.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great. Chad, what would you add to that?
Well, I think that these programs are designed. My role is working with our veteran students a lot, and I think it has definitely helped our veteran students. As you said, you don't have to commute. Point Loma, getting all the way down there can be tough. But a lot of our veteran students, they have families. A lot of them are trying to work right out of transition out of the military. The degree completion programs are great because you can do it in the evening. It's a hybrid program, so you do a little bit online, a little bit face to face.
So Chad, you were in the military. Talk about your experience and how you found the transition experience getting out of the military.
Oh, yeah. So I was a Navy veteran, or I am a Navy veteran. And
once a Navy person, always a Navy person?
Yes. Once a sailor, always a sailor.
All right.
I took a little bit of a different route. I went to college before the Navy, got my bachelor's degree, found out life wasn't exactly what I imagined it to be after getting a degree. And that was, right around the Iraq-Afghanistan war. That's when I got into the military. That's when I came into the Navy. Had a great time. And then decided, wanted to get back into the real world or back into the civilian world and transition. When I transitioned, I had a little bit of a difficult time because there's a lot of stuff out there you just don't know or you kind of forget.
What are some of those things that you found as roadblocks?
Well, I think the world had kind of changed a little bit since I had been in the military, and we kind of passed by the days where you could just apply for a job and get your hat in the ring and then get that job. What I was told when I came out is networking is key. You have to be networking. You have to be doing all these extra things just to get found, just to get a job. And so it took me a little while, but I figured that out. And networking is definitely not something that they teach you in the military at all. So that was just part of the learning curve, I suppose. Yeah.
So how does Point Loma Naz help veterans successfully transition?
Well, that's definitely one of the things that's on my heart. And since coming to Point Loma and building our military and veteran program, one of the things that we discover, and this was definitely true for me too, is I was a veteran student. I took 10 years off between going to school and coming back. What I learned was it's really easy to get into school. It's really easy to use your benefits. What they don't tell you is how hard it is to be successful in the classroom.
Really?
So my first class when I came back into school was graduate level statistics.
Oh my gosh.
And I thought my hair was on fire.
And your hair is red. So.
Yes. So that was rough. Just to be honest, I was like, whoa. And I had a lot of self-doubt. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I'm prepared for this. So one of the initiatives that we created a couple years ago is a class we call Educational Strategies for Student Success. And this is really geared toward people who have been out of school for a while and need that refresher of skills. So we built this 8-week class for military or for veterans or their family members. It's completely free. They can come, they can learn, they can get 3 credits out of it from PLNU.
Wow, and it's free and you get credits.
Yes, absolutely.
You get something for nothing. Who does that?
Well, you do have to work for it though. That's the key. So we do teach you how to build study skills. We teach you how time management, that little thing called APA formatting that everyone's so afraid of. I know I was. We teach all that stuff to help you be successful in the classroom.
You're listening to Brave Radio here on KCBQ AM 1170, streaming live on the web at am1170theanswer.com. Follow us on Twitter at Brave Jobs or like us on Facebook to stay up to date with the latest news and trends. I'm your host, Eve Nasby, here in studio with our friends from Point Loma Nazarene University talking about veteran transition programs, and what you guys do at Point Loma to help ease that transition for our veterans. So, Nikki, we're talking about how you guys make life better for the veterans. You're teaching them all these great things of, are you actually teaching them how to rewrite their resume, do interviewing skills, those types of things?
Yes. So in that Educational Strategies for Student Success class, we are teaching them how to write a resume, some interview skills, even the simple things as writing a thank you note, those soft skill practices that we might miss.
Things you don't think about. And how do we're not done with our interview yet, but how do folks get a hold of you to get enrolled in this class?
You can contact Chad Lozier over at chadlozier@pointloma.edu.
Okay, so email is the best way.
There's also, we have a link on our website. So if you go to our website, it's pointloma.edu. You can either find us by /military or /ESSS, which is the initials for that Educational Strategies for Student Success. And the next one is starting June 13th.
Okay. And how frequently do you guys have these?
We have it once a semester. So basically 3 times a year. We do it in conjunction, basically in the middle of a semester. So if you're enrolling in another college or even in fact PLNU, and you want to get right back into the classroom, we'll do it right before that semester. So you have those skills really fresh.
And July 13th is the next class?
June 13th.
June 13th is the next class. Okay. So for all of our listeners out there, if you're transitioning out of the military, or if you know somebody who is, please refer them to our friends at Point Loma Naz. This is free. If it's free, it's for me.
Exactly.
So let's talk about something that you are spearheading, Nikki, which is very exciting. It's called the CMR, Certified Military Recruiters. And I think setting this thing up is companies want to hire veterans, right? They think it's the right thing to do, which it is. But note to self, it's also a very smart strategic business decision because studies have shown veterans learn twice as fast, they get promoted twice as fast. So there's a lot of reasons why you should hire a veteran. They're amazing. So the problem is we have recruiters that really don't know what they're looking at with those resumes. We're going to have Matt Brogdon on in a couple minutes, and he's an amazing person. He went to the Air Force Academy and for some reason ended up in the Army. But he's got a lot of wisdom to share with us. But part of that is he's the only person I know that can actually read a military resume. Most of the recruiters out there can't. And so Point Loma has started a certified military recruiter program. So talk about that.
Yeah, so we're really excited to partner with Brave.
Yay, I like those people at Brave.
to host this certificate. It's one of my passions to be more available to people looking to hire veterans. And so we are really looking to add to Point Loma certificates. And so this certificate will be on June 23rd at our Mission Valley location, starting at 8 a.m. to about 4:30. And we're really excited to host Brave and partner with them.
And we're going to talk about a little bit more detail about what that program is going to entail when we bring Mr. Matt Brogdon on a little bit later. Well, you guys, thank you for all you're doing for our veterans and educating them and drawing them into the fold of the corporate world and the civilian world successfully. Without people like you, I think the path would be a little bit more bumpy for veterans in transition. So thank you for all that you're doing. Tell our listeners, and you're not going anywhere, we're going to have you on the next segment, but tell our listeners once again how they can get a hold of you.
For all of our veteran and military listeners, the easiest way to get in touch with us is at our website, pointloma.edu/military.
Awesome. All right, you guys, Nikki, Chad, thank you so much. Listeners, don't go away. You're listening to Brave Radio, where we're focused on matching veteran talent with innovative companies that make a difference in our community and in our nation, like Point Loma Nazarene University. Follow us on Twitter at Brave Jobs or like us on Facebook to stay up to date with the latest news and trends. I'm your host, Eve Nasby, and we will be right back after this short break to talk to the one and only Matt Brogdon. Don't go away. Tired of your employees being late?
There was so much traffic.
Tired of poor excuses and poor presentations?
My kid ate my homework.
Tired of employees just not being able to handle the pressure?
You mean I gotta work a full 8 hours today?
Skip the hassles and excuses and hire individuals that are trained in leadership, confident in their abilities, adaptable to change, and focused on teamwork. Hire a veteran. More than just a patriotic gesture, hiring a veteran of the United States military comes with a host of benefits and tax credits and can provide your company with valuable leadership, organization, and accountability. Allow the Brave to help your progressive business connect with qualified veteran candidates today and find out more by visiting thebrave.us. That's THEBRAVE.us.
Easter Seals Work First Military and Veteran Services provides free one-on-one personalized employment assistance for local veterans through their Bob Hope Veteran Support Program. Easter Seals' team of employment specialists is dedicated to achieving successful, long-term job placements that benefit both the veteran and the employer. Learn more about how you can receive services, connect with a future employee, or make a donation by visiting easterseals.com/SouthernCal. That's easterseals.com/SouthernCal.
Welcome back. You're listening to Brave Radio, where we focus on matching veteran talent with innovative companies that make a difference in our community and in our nation. Please follow us on Twitter at Brave Jobs or like us on Facebook to stay up to date with the latest news and trends. I'm your host, Eve Nasby, and we are here in studio, as promised, with Matt Brogdon. Matt, welcome back.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me, Eve.
You were here on the very first show. That was a long time ago.
A long time ago, but I'm glad I'm back.
Yay. Well, we have an exciting event coming up, and you are going to be one of our panelists. Point Loma, that we talked about on the last segment, is actually one of our sponsors. We've got a lot of great things going on. So this Thursday, listeners, I want you to mark your calendar. If your company is interested in hiring veterans, this is a free way for you guys to identify how to do it logistically. We've got Rochelle Snook from WD-40 coming. She's going to be on a panel. And we've got Joshua Schaefer from Oracle. We've got Patricia Reily from Cal State San Marcos. We're going to have her on the show in just a few minutes. And Matt Brogdon, who is a military talent strategist. He's working with Microsoft. We also have our good friend Ashley Kerwin from Ashford University. So all 5 of these panelists are going to talk about their best practices when hiring veterans. And so again, if your company wants to hire veterans, this is the best way to find out the best practices. It'll be Thursday, June 9th. 7:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. You're going to be treated to a breakfast, a gourmet lunch, and the keynote speaker is Urban Miyares. You guys, if for no other reason than to hear Urban Miyares speak, he is a Vietnam veteran. He was found dead, or at least they thought he was dead, in a body bag for 3 days. They unzipped him, and he was a different color than everybody else and took him to the hospital. And long story short, he went on to start 23 companies, and he's our keynote speaker. So again, Thursday, June 9th, 7:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. Check-ins at 7:30 at the Corporate Alliance in San Diego. One of those panelists is the most amazing Matt Brogdon. So Matt, again, thanks for being here.
You're too kind, but thanks for having me again.
So let's talk about what you're going to talk about on this panel, and that is why. Let's just start out with the obvious question. Why should companies even care about hiring veterans?
Because it's in their long-term best interest, and it's not so much a patriotic decision as it is a sound business decision. Corporate America thrives on diversity. It's important that we recruit and retain people from all walks of life and all backgrounds so that they can continually add to the bottom line, but also to strategic business decisions. And we have to have folks in our companies that look like our customer base. So if you're a company that sells, you're a company that has a service, veterans are a key part of your strategy to reach customers, but they also need to be an integral part of who you are as a company. I think that the most important thing about veteran hiring is that not only do they have a different background and bring so much from their military experience, but also they are quick learners, they make decisions well, and by the time they get up to speed in terms of what your company does, whatever their role is in that company, they're going to surpass your current employees by and large because they're used to working in high-pressure situations, making quick decisions, and leading large groups of people to success.
So let me play devil's advocate because I've heard this before. Matt, a person in the military can't make quick decisions. They are only able to do what they're told. How do you shatter that myth?
I think, and I'm glad you brought that up, I think it's important to realize that when you're a platoon leader and you have 21 or 50 or your company commander and you have 120 people, you're in a combat environment. You have to make decisions extremely quickly in order to save lives. And that's the basis of decision making in the military. When you're on a ship and you have to keep the ship from running aground, avoid an object out in the ocean, you don't have time to send it up 4 levels to have that decision made for you. People are paid and trained, more importantly, to make those decisions at the lowest possible level. And that's why you find folks that are 23, 24, 25 years old that are able to make decisions involving hundreds of people and millions of dollars worth of equipment. And that same experience can't be found in the civilian world at that age.
Excellent point. Thank you for that. And so now you are with Microsoft to talk a little bit about that program, and then we're also going to talk about the business you own.
Sure. Microsoft has a very robust military recruiting program. I am part of the military affairs division, but I'm not a recruiter. We've created a certificate program designed for veterans transitioning military as they separate from the services, called the Microsoft Software and Systems Academy. And basically, it is a 4-month course through our partner, Embry-Riddle University, where we have transitioning military folks get and earn certificates designed to give them entry level into the IT industry.
Now, can they use their GI Bill for that?
That's absolutely what they use. We're here at Camp Pendleton in San Diego. We've been running there for a number of years, and we're also expanding to the greater San Diego area for the Navy bases and Miramar that are here as well. We're also a national program, so we're at Fort Campbell in Kentucky, as well as Fort Hood, Texas, and we'll be expanding to 12 other bases all over the United States.
Wow. You're listening to Brave Radio here on KCBQ, AM 1170, streaming live on the web at am1170theanswer.com. Follow us on Twitter at Brave Jobs or like us on Facebook to stay up to date with the latest news and trends. I'm your host, Eve Nasby, here with Matt Brogdon. And you also, in addition to working with Microsoft, you also have your own company called Pathfinders. Tell us about that.
So Pathfinder Consulting is a company designed or created by me to increase demand for military hiring. It's important. I think we all know that military hiring is very topical. A lot of people talk about it.
They talk about it a lot, but do they do anything?
That's my point. And it's one thing when we talk a little bit more about our event on the 9th, we'll go into that. But I think it's important to help veterans with resumes, with interviewing skills and things like that. That's absolutely the most important part of the equation. But at the same time, you have to feed demand. We have to teach talent acquisition professionals, HR folks, and hiring managers what to look for, how to read resumes, why they should go after veterans, and more importantly, once they found them and hired them, how to retain them. I think there's a serious need in corporate America to ensure that there's enough education that people can not only know why they need to hire veterans, but do it successfully. And then once they've spent all that time and money to do that, which is the right decision, to be able to keep those folks successfully for many years.
And I think some companies too talk about, well, gosh, Matt, I know I have veterans in my company. I just don't know who they are. I don't know how to get them to self-identify. And I think you've got some tactical strategies that can help companies get those folks who are veterans to self-identify. So that's part of, I think, the CMR class that you're going to be instructing and that you actually wrote in conjunction with another amazing individual, Maren Jackowitz, out on the East Coast. So talk a little bit about the syllabus for the CMR program.
Sure. I think we wanted to approach this from a comprehensive standpoint. It's important not to assume that people know certain things about veteran employees, about the veteran community. We want to make sure everyone has all the tools they need if they're supposed to go source and interview these folks. They know everything. There's nothing more apparent so quickly as someone who doesn't know what they're talking about. And we want to give recruiters the tools not only to know what they're doing, but be extremely confident in recruiting these folks. So a big part of the syllabus is understanding military talent, understanding things like MOSs and job backgrounds, what their education and training looks like, what transition looks like for those folks. And then we want to give them the tools to evaluate that transitioning military service member or that veteran. I want them to have the tools to be able to read a resume, and not so much to understand acronyms, but more importantly, to look at transferable skills. What are those things that the military service member brings to the table that may not be readily apparent through lines on a resume, but that stand out over and over? Things like decision making, the ability to react quickly to a situation, teamwork, operate in a diverse work environment. Those are just some of the skills that veterans bring. And lastly, hold on, sorry to interrupt, but you've got these civilian recruiters who know their jobs, they know their company, they know the culture. They're looking at these resumes and they're like, Matt Brogdon, Air Force, Army, I'm not exactly sure what he did or who he is. I'm not either.
Right? They put your resume to the side because they don't know how to really understand who you are as a person, but they do know that they have to fill these jobs, right? So as part of the CMR program, are you also going to help them funnel candidates and identify candidates? Say they've got a call center. Are you going to help them understand what talents and traits and maybe what branch can help them best with call center positions, for example?
Absolutely. I think the place, and this is a question I get quite a bit, is where do we start? A lot of information about hiring veterans out there. And there are a lot of hour-long speeches, panels, and things like that that touch the topic but don't go in depth. I think where you start is, how do you profile the jobs you want to fill with veteran candidates? In other words, what are those skills I'm looking for in my call center? Right. And then where do they correspond with military veterans so that I know what to look for in the military community and then hire those individuals? That's where we start with the CMR program. That's where we start with any organization, corporate or otherwise, that's trying to hire military veterans is, okay, so what jobs are the best fit? And then how do I find those transferable skills out there on resumes for transitioning military?
And I don't know anybody else out there right now that is doing this. Everybody talks about wanting to hire veterans, but nobody's really taking the time or investing the resources to educate their recruiters on this is what you're really looking for and this is how to read this. So talk about the third point.
Well, I think and to your point on that, I think the most important thing with a recruiter training program is, we tend to think the fix out there in corporate America is, I'll hire a recruiter who's recruited military, which is great. Or I'll hire someone who is a military recruiter, which is about half the solution. Or I'm going to hire someone who's former military, but they don't have recruiting skills. Right. What we want to make sure is that we marry the important sourcing, recruiting, and sales skills that a great recruiter has out there with the knowledge of how to recruit military veterans so they can be extremely effective. We want to train someone who is a corporate recruiter, but more importantly, we want to make sure that this course is open to recruiters who want to add to their skill set, to HR departments and talent acquisition directors and vice presidents who want to make sure that they have not just one or two military recruiters on staff, but that all 20, 50, 100 members of their recruiting staff nationwide know what to look for and know where to send their military candidates.
I love it. Matt, thank you so much. You're brilliant. We're going to have you not go anywhere. We're going to have Patricia Reily up next on our show. We're going to talk about all that she's doing up at Cal State San Marcos. And then we're going to bring everybody back on to talk a little bit more about how we can help effectively these veterans transition, not only from their perspective, but also help these corporations understand how to find them, how to identify them, how to hire them, and then to your point, Matt, how to retain them. So Matt Brogdon from Pathfinders and Microsoft, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
You're listening to Brave Radio, where we focus on matching veteran talent with innovative companies that make a difference in our community and in our nation. Follow us on Twitter at Brave Jobs or like us on Facebook to stay up to date with the latest news and trends. I'm your host, Eve Nasby, and we will be right back after this short break to talk to one of the first commanders in the Navy. It was a female, Dr. Patricia Reily. Don't go away.
Hey, boss.
Yeah.
I need to hire someone. Our workload's increased and, man, I could use some help.
What are you looking for?
I need someone unlike Ben, who doesn't freak out, when the copier breaks and the phones are down and the receptionist calls in sick.
What do you need?
Leadership. I need a leader who can just get it done with little direction and ahead of time would be great. With the prima donnas floating around our department like Sally and Jason, it's a challenge, man, to get things done. I need a team player, trained in leadership, confident in their abilities, and adaptable to change.
There's only one place you're going to find talent like that.
Show me where.
Our United States veterans. Call Eve right now at 619-244-3000 or log on to thebrave.us and let's hire a veteran. It's good for business. It's good for America.
Brave is a part of America's largest service-disabled veteran-owned business, Amerit Consulting. We are dedicated to placing great companies with great veterans. Call today.
Easter Seals Work First Military and Veteran Services provides free one-on-one personalized employment assistance for local veterans through their Bob Hope Veteran Support Program. Easter Seals' team of employment specialists is dedicated to achieving successful long-term job placements that benefit both the veteran and the employer. Learn more about how you can receive services, connect with a future employee, or make a donation by visiting easterseals.com/SouthernCal. That's easterseals.com/SouthernCal.
Welcome back. You're listening to Brave Radio, where we focus on matching veteran talent with innovative companies that make a difference in our community and in our nation. Follow us on Twitter at Brave Jobs or like us on Facebook to stay up to date with the latest news and trends. I'm your host, Eve Nasby, and we are here with the most amazing Dr. Patricia Reily. Dr. Reily, welcome to our show.
Thank you. Wow, most amazing.
Most amazing.
Like that. Cool.
Because there's secrets here in the studio that you don't know, that they know you. And we were talking about your military career. So for our listeners, to kind of get level set, can you talk a little bit about your military career? You were, was it a commander in the Navy?
Yes. Retired commander. I loved my Navy career and found the love of my life. Married a Navy guy, married a sailor, and with two beautiful children, one of whom's a helicopter pilot. So I am literally a helicopter mom, helicopter parent.
But
and I had just a wonderful career in the Navy. Did the Navy's first study on sexual harassment and implemented the first workshops on sexual harassment. This was way back in the late 70s. And also I more recently wrote a book about chief petty officers and how the stories they tell, how they lead. They're the Yodas of the Navy, both teaching the young officers as well as the enlisted troops. And I looked at just how they go about doing that. So it was a fun study of chief petty officers and their leadership and how they lead and train and inspire.
Wow. And I think you also were one of the first females, right, in your role?
Yes, I was on a number of occasions. I was the first, the first in my job, a couple of my jobs, and so I guess I kind of trailblazed a little.
You're so humble, and in fact, I'm going to bring you back on another show to talk about women in the military because I think you're being very humble. I think you've got some amazing stories to tell, and I've got somebody in studio who's nodding his head saying, "Yes, Eve, you should do that." Aww. Well, let's talk about Cal State San Marcos because Cal State San Marcos was recently ranked in the top 25 military-friendly public universities in the country by Military Times and was the only California public university in the top 25. That's amazing.
We are really pretty excited about that. You know, it was kind of a surprise. It was, but maybe not so. I mean, we really try to be military friendly, but it was cool. Mm-hmm. But not, we're not gloating or anything. No, it's a wonderful accolade. We're very pleased.
And so, Cal State San Marcos, you also have a certifying military connected students program, right? And you're helping them with their VA education benefits so they can make that seamless transition to a university. Talk a little bit about that.
Yes, our focus, I like to quote one of our staff. He always looks at it as we want to look at graduation plus day one. Mm-hmm. So it's when our student veterans come to California State San Marcos, University of San Marcos, we really want to focus on, okay, you've gotten this wonderful benefit from your country, you've earned it to go to school, but what that needs to do is lead to a sustainable career. Mm-hmm. So we need to start thinking now about graduation day plus day one. So you're going to cross that stage of graduation with a diploma in one hand and a couple of job offers in the other hand. And that is really a big push that we have at CSUSM. And so we try to make the transition seamless as possible, and we put a lot of effort into professional development in dealing with the whole person with our veterans. We really get to know our veterans. We consider ourselves very high touch. That doesn't mean we're touchy, but we like to know our veterans and treat them as individuals and work with their individual needs.
And you're the right person for the job because I think at another university you did something called Troops to Engineers, and I think you had a 100% placement rate with the veterans that were transitioning out of that program. Is that right?
Yeah, fabulous program at San Diego State. I started the Troops to Engineers program at San Diego State, and the student veterans we got in the program were motivated, and the beauty of the Troops to Engineers program and putting them in engineering internships, which was really what the focus of my job was. I was sort of like eHarmony. I kind of matched veterans with employers who were looking for looking to employ engineers and scientists, and it was just such a wonderful win-win because when I would get a veteran into an internship, I inevitably would get a call from the employer saying, "Could you just clone that guy? We just want 2 more just like him." And what it did was it gave the veterans confidence. They realized really how much they knew. They had the lab before they had the class. And my printer's going here. And so they came into it, they gained confidence, and the employers really came to appreciate what veterans can bring to the table in industry, in an organization.
And I think seeing is believing, to your point. A lot of folks maybe fear bringing a veteran into their organization, and I've heard that. Some people talk about PTSD, and there's a little bit of a sense of fear, the elephant in the room, but really seeing is believing. You bring that person into your organization, and you can see that they're a remarkable asset to you.
Yes, indeed. And, there was an interesting survey recently of veterans with disabilities. And interestingly enough, most of them don't see their disability as a hindrance at all to them doing their jobs.
Right. Exactly.
And I think that really says something about our care network for veterans now. They're, by and large, very positive about their ability to do the job, and they don't see their disability as a hindrance.
That's right.
So I think in many respects, it seems like what we're doing is working.
You're listening to Brave Radio here on KCBQ AM 1170, streaming live on the web at am1170theanswer.com. We're here on the phone with Dr. Patricia Reily from Cal State San Marcos program. Thank you so much for being here, Dr. Reily. You know, you're going to be a part of this amazing event on Thursday, June 9th at the Corporate Alliance here in San Diego at 9171 Town Center Drive. You're one of our guest panelists where we're going to do a deep dive for those who are interested in hiring veterans, and you're kind of scratching your head going, okay, Eve, that's a really good idea, but I'm not a Patricia Reily. I'm not a Matt Brogdon. I don't know how to read their resumes. And once I hire them, I don't know how to keep them. I don't know how to do a veteran internship program. And so where can I possibly go to learn? Well, I've got great news, because this event on June 9th is going to answer all those questions and more. And so part of what you're going to be talking about, Patricia, Dr. Reily, is that whole internship program concept. Talk about a little bit about more what you're going to be sharing with our audience at that event.
Well, there's, as I said earlier, an internship, a wonderful way to take a look at what veterans can do for employers. And it's a wonderful way for veterans to apply what they already know, especially they've had wonderful leadership experience, they're team players, and they have an opportunity to demonstrate that in an internship. And for employers, an internship is like a rent-to-buy program. It's perfect, because they can figure out, which interns they want to bring on as full-time hires, and it gives the veteran also an opportunity to be exposed to a culture outside of the military and an organizational culture, and they can see if that organizational culture fits them. So it's great. It's great for both, and I think nowadays, when you want to get the right people on your team in an organization, internships make so much sense, and then I'm a big believer. I think our veterans tend to rise to the top.
They certainly do.
They show in a very short time just what they are capable of.
You're right. You're absolutely right. So Cal State San Marcos, back to that program. You have a special program for your students. They get priority registration from day one.
Yeah.
Spring semester admissions for veterans. Talk about those priorities and how you treat the veterans as they're coming on your campus. It sounds like you roll out the red carpet.
We really do. We have, there's basically, we have a three-step approach. Get in, that means, we got to get you certified, get your benefits going, so you don't have to worry about getting tuition paid and paying the rent and that kind of thing for our veterans who are using post-9/11 GI Bill. The second part of that is academic advising. We want to make sure they get the classes they need to graduate on time. And in sciences, that sometimes takes to having classes in sequence. And then thirdly, we work really hard on professional development, getting them ready for that sustainable career when they cross the stage. So those are the three things we really focus on. And so priority registration, I don't know of any other university that gives veterans registration before anybody else on when they're incoming, brand new students. We register them early so they can get the classes that they need, so they're going to be able to finish their degrees with 36 months of GI Bill and not have to incur loans. And we think that's really important. So we really work on that, and then along the way we're attending to we have a special transition class for veterans. We give them peer mentors. Every one of our veterans gets a peer mentor. So we just do a lot of personal development and professional development with our veterans.
That's outstanding, and I appreciate and I applaud all that you're doing. I think you are pioneering a program there right now to make all of this happen, to ensure that those veterans, after they graduate, have a landing place when they've got that certificate, like you said, a degree in one hand and a couple of job offers in the other. And that is no surprise, because you're amazing. Dr. Reily, thank you for being a part of the show. Thank you for being a panelist on our event coming here this Thursday at 7:30 a.m. All of our listeners can actually meet you in person, because not only are you going to be on the panel, but you're also going to be available for some breakouts, so folks can speak to you one-on-one and pick your brain and get some ideas of how perhaps they could actually customize a program within their own organization.
Thank you, Eve. I'm so excited about Thursday.
I know. I am too.
All righty.
Dr. Reily, thank you so much for your time, Cal State San Marcos, and we'll see you on Thursday.
Thanks so much. See you then.
You're listening to Brave Radio here on KCBQ AM 1170, streaming live on the web at am1170theanswer.com. Follow us on Twitter at Brave Jobs or like us on Facebook to stay up to date with the latest news and trends. I'm your host, Eve Nasby, and we will be right back after these messages. Don't go away. Tired of your employees being late?
There was so much traffic.
Tired of poor excuses and poor presentations?
My kid ate my homework.
Tired of employees just not being able to handle the pressure?
You mean I gotta work a full 8 hours today?
Skip the hassles and excuses and hire individuals that are trained in leadership, confident in their abilities, adaptable to change, and focused on teamwork. Hire a veteran. More than just a patriotic gesture, hiring a veteran of the United States military comes with a host of benefits and tax credits and can provide your company with valuable leadership, organization, and accountability. Allow the Brave to help your progressive business connect with qualified veteran candidates today and find out more by visiting thebrave.us. That's THEBRAVE.us.
Easter Seals Work First Military and Veteran Services provides free one-on-one personalized employment assistance for local veterans through their Bob Hope Veteran Support Program. Easter Seals' team of employment specialists is dedicated to achieving successful, long-term job placements that benefit both the veteran and the employer. Learn more about how you can receive services, connect with a future employee, or make a donation by visiting easterseals.com/SouthernCal. That's easterseals.com/SouthernCal.
Welcome back. You're listening to Brave Radio here on KCBQ AM 1170, streaming live on the web at am1170theanswer.com. Follow us on Twitter at Brave Jobs or like us on Facebook to stay up to date with the latest news and trends. We're here with Judi Reynolds from Corporate Alliance on the phone. We're going to talk about all that Corporate Alliance does and the huge event we're having at Corporate Alliance on Thursday. So, Judi, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
You are an amazing veteran advocate, and here's how I met Judi Reynolds for our listeners. I got an email that said, "Hey, Eve, how would you like to fly in an F-18 simulator?" That's how I met Judi Reynolds, and now she's my best friend. So we had a great time.
Experience.
You're the bomb. So tell us about Corporate Alliance and all the great things you guys do over there.
Well, thank you. Corporate Alliance is a membership-based organization. However, we focus more on relationships. So we like to refer to ourselves as a relationship university. We work on personal development amongst the business community and just building sustainable relationships. So I love it over here.
You are doing such a great job because if there's entrepreneurs that are listening or somebody who wants to be an entrepreneur, you have this safe environment where folks can come together, they can kibitz, they can complain, and they can learn from one another best practices.
Absolutely. We all know what a financial return on investment is, but I believe that Corporate Alliance does a lot more for the social and intellectual piece of a business. So one of our Corporate Alliance partners said it the best. He said that the folks here have made him a better version of himself. So we appreciate those testimonials from corporate America.
No kidding. And one of the most exciting things about you is that you are a huge veteran advocate. I think you bleed red, white, and blue. You love this country. You love our veterans, and you're very passionate about supporting them. And as part of that passion, you've got a couple programs going on. One of them is going to help veterans directly, where you're going to start pairing up veterans with great companies. We've got an event that's being hosted by you this Thursday. So tell us a little bit about that event and what's going to be going on at Corporate Alliance for free, by the way.
Yes. We are hoping to fill the place here at Corporate Alliance. What we do, we have several different events throughout the month that brings our members together, but this one is primarily focusing on corporate America and teaching them how to attract, hire, and retain veteran talent. What we've realized in the process here of kind of an organic growth of our veteran community within Corporate Alliance is that there's a huge gap between the veteran and how they translate their skills to corporate America. So we are bringing folks together from the veteran community, some veterans in transition, as well as a lot of corporate folks who will talk about the importance of supporting the veteran hiring process. They will learn how to implement veteran recruiting initiatives and that translation of skills that I just referenced. So it's an event from 7:30 a.m. here at our location on Town Center Drive in UTC. It will end at 1 o'clock with an incredible keynote speaker.
Urban Miyares. He's the bomb. So, by the way, I don't think you know this, but he's the fastest downhill skier. And by the way, he's totally blind. So he holds the world's record for being the fastest downhill blind skier. And so he's going to keep us well entertained. But Judi, I think this event is really important. And I'm going to bring the rest of our panelists back in here because we've got Matt and Chad and Nikki still in studio, is that companies say, yeah, we want to hire veterans. And here's an amazing opportunity to learn from Oracle, Microsoft, Ashford, Cal State San Marcos, WD-40 about how to do what they have done in standing up a very successful veteran hiring program. But then something happens. Sometimes the rubber doesn't even get to the road. Once they leave the event, they'll go back to their companies and stuff starts to fizzle out. And so we're talking about how serious are companies that say they want to hire veterans and then just don't. And so I think there's sometimes a bottleneck. So Matt and Chad and Nikki, can we jump back into that conversation and offer up your opinions of what happens there?
Sure. Eve, I think it's about confidence. I think it's about you learn something, but you don't have enough confidence to then go do that task. And recruiting veterans really falls into that. You have folks that have a passing familiarity with it, but they haven't done it, and so they're not confident to do it themselves or then teach somebody else. We want to make sure we give everyone who attends on Thursday such a great overview of all aspects of recruiting and retention that they have the confidence to move forward and not only do it themselves, but bring their team along with them.
Mm-hmm. So, Chad, what are some of the bottlenecks that you see when companies say, Chad, I'd love to hire veterans, and then 12 months later, they haven't hired veterans?
Well, I think that's always tough. Yeah, I mean, you go into it with the best intentions, but then there's maybe sometimes a lack of knowledge. I think one of the big things is to get veterans in leadership positions. I mean, that's what they were born to do in the military, anyways. Many of it we talked about. Matt, you talked about 23, 24, 25-year-olds get leadership experience from that delicate age, and then they grow that leadership experience along the way. Promote veterans within your company, and then they will help change the culture. They will help refer good veterans into the company, wherever that is, and and then you'll see a snowball effect from that.
And I think that's a hint for an ERG group, an employee resource group, which is just simply a club of like-minded people. Mm-hmm. And if you can start a veteran ERG group within your organization, the veterans start to self-identify and come and join this group. And then from there, good people refer good people. And now you have a pool from which to draw. Yeah, they
stick together. I mean, it's not, when you find one, you'll find more.
Good point. Nikki, what would you add to that?
I think, too, it's also helping educate the veterans on how to tailor their resume to be more noticed, giving them the confidence, giving them the soft skills to interview, to write those thank you notes.
Yeah. So, Matt, with this program that Judi, you are kindly standing up, and thank you for all you're doing. We've got Admiral's Experience is going to bring us this gourmet lunch. I cannot wait. His habanero citrus sauce is to die for. It's so good. So, Matt, what are some of the key points that you think folks that are coming will be taking away?
So I mentioned it's not just a passing discussion. It's going to be a very intense and long morning, and I mean that in the best way. There's going to be a lot of information. Number one, a panel discussion about veteran hiring, but then 3 different breakouts where, as a professional, you can go and sit down with the person who on the panel you identified with and wanted to learn more from, whether that's on internships for veterans, veteran hiring, marketing, profiling, or that ERG group. How do I start that? Where do I find the vets to begin that? And what happens when it takes off, which is a good problem to have, but that also happens. So we'll cover the gamut of issues, and what we really want folks to come away with is enough information to ask questions, and then in turn get those questions answered at the same event.
And I think to your point, Chad, sometimes people come in and they'll learn things and then they'll kind of brain dump them. But I think what Point Loma has done is a follow-up program. So a couple weeks after this June 9th event, you'll also have the opportunity to sign up for your program at Point Loma to learn how to really put your what you've learned into practice and to learn even more. And then have you, Matt, instruct them on exactly what it is that they need to do to attract, hire, and retain veterans through the CMR program. So it's awesome. You're listening to Brave Radio here on KCBQ AM 1170, streaming live on the web at am1170theanswer.com. Follow us on Twitter at Brave Jobs or like us on Facebook to stay up to date with the latest news and trends. I'm your host, Eve Nasby, here in studio with Nikki and Chad from Point Loma. We've got Matt Brogdon from Pathfinders and Microsoft, and our good friend Judi Reynolds from Corporate Alliance. So Judi, from your perspective where you sit, you're a civilian and I'm a civilian, but you've seen and you've met a lot of veteran folks. Why should people even care about coming to this event?
You know, I've seen it firsthand with, I was very blessed to be introduced by one of our members here at Corporate Alliance as a veteran, and he introduced me to a Marine veteran who had transitioned out about 6 months prior and was really struggling with the hiring process and having confidence and being comfortable while interviewing. And it kind of just took off from there, but I've seen firsthand the value of hiring veterans. I've learned a lot over the past year doing this program, working on building this program, and have just realized that there's a lot of gap in our community. There's a lot of open positions, and there are a lot of veterans looking for jobs. And so we really want to teach folks and give them the tools to kind of close that gap, if you will.
That's right. Well, thank you so much, Judi, for all that you're doing. For those listeners, if you or someone you know would like to be a part of this free event, again, we've got incredible panelists. You get a breakout, you get one-on-one time with them, an amazing speaker. It's all free. You can do a couple of things. You can either call me directly at 619-244-3000, 619-244-3000. That's the easiest thing. If you're driving, please don't write that down. Just go onto our website at www.thebrave.us. Or if you are at home and you have a piece of paper and a pencil, you can write this down. Judi, can you give out Allie's email so they can register through Allie?
Absolutely. So if you can just email Allie, A-L-L-I-E, at corporatealliance.net. Or my email is Judi, with an I, Reynolds, at corporatealliance.net as well. And our address is 9171 Town Center Drive, Suite 180. So we hope to see you all here.
That's awesome. I'm so excited. Judi, thank you so much. And for our guests here in studio, Nikki Shimozaki, thank you from Point Loma for all you're doing with the CMR program and all of your support for veterans. Chad, thank you for your service and all that you're doing for our veterans through Point Loma. And Matt, well, what can I say? The one and only Matt Brogdon, right back here. Thank you for all you're doing. You helped co-write the CMR program. You're helping companies understand how to attract and hire and retain those veterans. So again, thank you for all you're doing.
Thanks for the opportunity to be here, Eve.
All right, you guys, I want to see all of you listeners at this event, Thursday, June 9th, 7:30 a.m. It ends promptly at 1 o'clock, Corporate Alliance San Diego. Our guest speakers are Rochelle Snook from WD-40, Oracle, Joshua Schaefer. We've got Dr. Patricia Reily from Cal State San Marcos, the one and only Matt Brogdon from Microsoft, Ashley Kerwin from Ashford University, and our keynote speaker is going to be Urban Mayares. Again, Judi, our mistress of ceremonies, will be kicking it off on Thursday morning for us, and I'll be hosting the panel, so you've got to be there. Thanks again for joining us, you guys. I'm Eve Nasby, and you've been listening to Brave Radio here on KCBQ AM 1170, The Answer. If you want to find out more about how you can hire top veteran talent, or if you're interested in being a guest on our show, visit our website at www.thebrave.us. Send us a tweet at Brave Jobs or like our Facebook page. Keep that dial right here on KCBQ AM 1170, because up next is my good friend Andrea Kay. She's the daughter of 2 Marines and a patriot who loves America and our military. And in fact, she and Craig Sewing will be hosting election night coverage from Golden Hall tomorrow from 6 to 9. You got to be there. From all of our guests and me, thanks for joining us. And until next Monday, may God bless our veterans and God bless America.
Thanks for listening to Brave Radio. If you know a veteran looking for work, or if your company is hiring, call Eve at Brave at 619-244-3000. Give her a tweet at Brave Jobs and connect with them on Facebook. To be a guest on the show, visit thebrave.us.